Welcome, everyone, to Beers with Jesus.
Woo!
Todd's world. Carrie's world today, too. She's back
I'm back.
for 1 week. She just pops in.
I know, sorry. It's a busy season. Thank you for being flexible, Todd.
So Carrie's back with us this week. Next week, I think Carrie probably won't be around, and so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll find some more people to impress into service. But how you been, Carrie?
Great. How about you?
Good. We're doing it on Sundays again. Lately, we've been doing it forever. We
Yeah.
recorded news and we recorded Beers with Jesus back to back on Saturday mornings. And lately we've been doing news on Saturday mornings. Now
Yeah.
we put them out on Tuesdays. So if you're listening to this, listen to the Wildly Opinionated News Hour that dropped yesterday at Todd's World.
It's a really good show this week.
Yeah, we kind of bounced around, hit some different things,
I like
which
it when
I
you do that.
enjoy. I enjoy
I do
hitting,
too.
some of the stuff maybe that's not as front burner on the news out there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's some shocking stuff, some research, some science.
Yeah, we just kind of bounce around.
Yep.
So, that's why it's a Wildly Opinionated News Hour. You get kind of a broad swath, and then
Swath.
there you go.
I love the word
And that
swath.
I do too. And then on Beers, we just go through the stories of the Bible.
Yep.
So, this week we're in Acts 16, the second half. So right now we're going through Acts. We started in Mark, we went all the way through Mark, and we're rolling through Acts a little faster than we did Mark. Maybe we're getting better at it. You think?
I think we're doing great. It's good rhythm. I wanted to tell you last week. So I was listening to last week's show, and every week you describe to the listeners what we do here.
Yeah.
But you added an element that I hadn't really thought of before, and I thought it was so well said and clear, and it just clarified why you've chosen where we are in the Bible, and that is that in churches, sometimes the focus is on the epistles, like
Yeah.
all the letters, and if people don't know what that word epistle means, it's all the letters written from Paul to all those cities, to
Yep.
the
All the
Colossians,
churches.
to the
Yep.
Corinthians, to the Thessalonians, all of those. Through these letters, and they're full of lessons and they're full of advice and all of that.
Yeah.
But you said some people like judge the Bible and judge Jesus and faiths or whatever. They make judgments on this whole idea before they really know the story. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was a really neat distinction. I mean, I know it.
That's how I feel about it. I feel like,
Yeah.
I mean,
The
that they're all
Gospels.
notes on the story. And listen,
Yeah.
super important. I'm not saying
They
that they're
right,
not important. That's
you
what
didn't
puts grit
dismiss
into the
them.
churches, you know?
Yeah,
And I think, and so, yeah, but I do think that more so now maybe than in other times past. And I'm sure it's just cyclical, but I just feel like people don't know the story. They don't have they don't have the
right,
attention spans that we used to have
right,
for
and it's also
things.
just like the origin, like, you can go and you can watch a superhero movie, but then when they come out with that superhero's origin story, it's like, "Oh, everything makes
It adds a
so
lot of
much more
depth.
sense," and it's like, I feel like that's sort of what we're doing.
Yeah.
When you described that, I was like, so yeah, so the Gospel of Mark and Acts is really the story of Jesus and now the story of the early church. But it's not just these letters being written, it's really the foundation for all of those letters that we kind of focus on
I love it.
much of the Bible, much of the New Testament
And,
is, so.
Kate and Sophie seemed to really enjoy it. Like, afterwards,
Oh, yeah,
Kate was
they
like,
did
"Oh, I
great.
loved
Good
it."
job, you guys. Thank
And
you for joining and taking my
and I
spot.
think they knew what I was talking about by the end, the difference between focusing on the stories
Mhm.
and again, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm only saying that this seems to me to be somewhat of a weak part in the wall. So,
Okay.
if Jesus is gonna send you somewhere, sometimes you go where the defenses need a little help. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And to me,
Sure.
it seems like the stories are what people have kind of let slip a little bit.
Mhm.
And you
But
get
it's
that
just like
in
that.
Christian education. Like if you think
Mhm.
about going to a Catholic school or a Christian school or
Mhm.
whatever, and not as many people do that anymore, but it was in or Sunday school, those kinds of things. It was there that they
Right.
really built into a lot of those stories where you really learned a lot of that. And
Mhm.
people not as much, that's not as big of a thing. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I understand there's
Mhm.
still Catholic and Christian schools and everything, but but as the population gets bigger, it seems like that piece of the pie
Mhm.
isn't as getting as much bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those missing the forest for the trees situations. I feel like just you're reinforcing this context and the foundation of all of everything else, and I just thought it was a cool distinction that you made, and I was like, "Oh my
Oh, I'm
gosh,
glad.
that makes a lot of sense," and we
I
always
hope
talk
it
about this.
appeals to people. Like, I
I
hope
hope
they
so too.
enjoy the stories, you know?
Yeah, I
I'm
hope
ha
s that you
I'm
share this with someone who would like this. What are you doing?
I was gonna say that I'm thinking when we're done with X,
Mhm.
and I hadn't thrown this by you
Oh,
yet, I'm
okay.
thinking of going all the way back to Genesis,
Whoa,
which
okay.
I know would be real foundational, but there's some really good stories in there.
I'm
You'd have to
down.
skip it around a little bit, but,
Okay,
um, certainly once you get to Abraham,
okay.
once you get past creation, I'm not saying that there's not anything there. There's a lot of stuff there. Once you get past the Noah and the flood and all that, and then once you hit
Mhm.
Abraham, it's like the whole story of the patriarchs right there. That kind of all of
Sure.
Israel is kind of based on. So, and as we all
Yeah.
know, Israel's the most important thing in the world.
Oh boy.
Go back and listen to last week's news if you
Anyways.
haven't. It was good.
Yeah.
We had so how was church? Oh, you didn't make a church day because you had kids in town.
Yep,
You were
I
getting
was
people off and
getting
doing
people.
your thing,
Yeah,
and you're packing because you're leaving again. Yeah, you got a lot
yep,
going on. You're
I
fitting us
know.
all in. This is your church today.
This is Beers
I
with
went to
Jesus.
church today,
Yeah. How
and
was church today, Todd?
I go, "You gotta understand, people have heard me talk about my church. Church is fine, but
No, it's nice. I'm glad you went.
I'm on approved
Sometimes
curriculum,
things
we know
happen.
that, and but then I'm sitting there in church today, but it hadn't started yet. I got there early because Kate, my daughter, who was on the show last week, she's leading worship today, or is part of the worship team today.
Nice.
And so I got there 10 minutes early, and I hung out with her a little bit, was talking, nothing big.
Mhm,
Go back, and at our church, if you're there on time,
mhm.
you're one of the first 10, 20%. Everybody comes late.
Okay,
That's just how it goes.
okay,
I'm not saying that's good, better, or different. I'm just saying that's how it works.
okay.
So if you're there early, you're really in the minority. Not a lot of people around and milling around. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I'm sitting there. It's probably 5 minutes before the service is going to start, and the guy comes up and introduces himself, and he's with the kind of the AV, the audio video team, because our church, like, we video, I guess, the stuff and put it out
Mhm.
on the interweb, out on live stream and whatever else. So
Right, that's
people are
cool.
sick, they can watch it. You guys probably do the same thing.
Right.
Most churches now, since COVID
Since
anyway,
COVID, yeah.
everybody's kind of they've realized that they
My
can do it relatively inexpensively.
Yeah, my church's quality is horrible. They just do it on someone's phone on a tripod. But
Oh,
when I watch mass online, I watch my mom's because theirs is fabulous. So
okay.
yours is probably like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty decent. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I guess it's going to start being better because he comes up to me and he says, "You know, you're just so tall." And I have a tendency to sit I'm probably 5 or 6 rows back
Mhm.
in the middle, kind of on, like,
Mhm.
one's, you know what I mean, right in the middle
Mhm.
aisle there. And he's like, "So, whenever in our church, it's a Pentecostal church.
Yep.
We worship, raise our hands, things like that." One of the main reasons
Enthusiastic.
I would go would be for the worship.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the worship, and I didn't grow up that way. I grew up Baptist. Nobody was raising their hands in our church. If you
Okay.
raised your hands in my Baptist church, they were asking you what your question was.
Mm.
They didn't
Save your questions for the end, please.
like, "I don't know what you think this is." But anyway, so I didn't grow up that way.
Mhm.
But as I moved into it, I got to the point where I felt comfortable worshiping, a little bit more
Right. It's nice.
like that, raising hands, all
That's
that.
cool.
And it hit me once. I think I've said this before. You probably heard me say it, that when I was at a Kid Rock concert and I was getting all into it,
Yes.
and I thought, I don't want to get more into it at a Kid Rock concert than I do worshiping Jesus. And so from then on, it before that, I kind of thought, well, if I'm into it enough, maybe I'll raise my hands or whatever. And then it kind of
Yeah.
switched over, and I started to see that there's something maybe you do, whether you're into it or not. Like, it's part of your worship, and maybe that moves you into the worship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think it, but to get over that
Yeah.
initial hesitation, I totally understand that. Being
And
a
so
Catholic, very reserved, I get it.
So for me, that was a real, like, I remember the concert, and I remember that was kind of kind of a turning point where I was like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
um, God, nobody's gonna think, oh, he's enjoying Kid Rock more than he's enjoying Jesus. Not that
Right.
I don't still enjoy Kid
It
Rock.
doesn't seem right, though, I understand.
You know what I mean? But I should
Yes.
enjoy Jesus just as much, and I do.
Right.
So anyway, I enjoy worship. But he says, dude, you're so tall, and like your arms are so. I was like, well, imagine if I had John McCain's arms on this body. It'd be like a T-Rex. But
Who's John McCain?
you don't remember who John McCain is?
No.
Senator John McCain? Remember he
Oh, John
died
McCain. Yeah, I remember John
and he
McCain.
had little
Sorry,
arms. I
sorry.
think it was
Okay,
from
got it,
torture.
got it.
Oh,
Oh my
well.
gosh. Sam, I'm
Anyway,
sorry, sorry, sorry. Okay,
and, uh, but he had kinda short arms.
got it.
So anyway, he says, "So could you maybe, like, keep him down to, like, 3/4?"
Unbelievable.
Yes, I just like, I thought, this kind of thing doesn't happen to other people. What is like, I get
It's
unapproved
so
curriculum, I get your arms are too long and too
you're
short,
too
your
tall.
hand's right in the worship leader's face, I guess like, the picture, like,
Okay,
the video.
so,
And I'm like, "Get that bitch a milk crate, then he can stand on."
well, I'm just curious. Hold on a second. So he's in charge of filming this?
I think audio yeah,
This
they
this
have, like, an audio visual team,
Yeah,
maybe.
can they not scooch? Can he not
Maybe we've entered, like, the height restrictions on the
can
camera stand.
can you so I missed that this was his job. I didn't real I thought he just couldn't
Oh, no, no,
see.
no, no, this
I
is
thought
his
he
job.
just couldn't
No,
see.
no, it wasn't that. No, it
Okay.
wasn't that. But
Alright,
this
so
was a video thing. So in
okay,
other words, we're recording the Sunday show. It's like
okay.
us recording our show. That's the
Yeah.
whole point. And so
Can he ask you to take like, can you move 2 people down or
I
something? Just
probably can move whatever, but
I thought this was just a parishioner saying, "I can't see when
no.
you raise your hands up." I didn't
This
know it
is
was
in
like the
service of the Sunday
video
show of
guy.
the streaming Sunday show,
Okay.
I suppose.
And the
And I'm a
worship
problem.
leader, the worship I told Todd, I think he should wear a sombrero next week and also raise his hands up.
So
Um,
anyway,
yikes. So,
it just
yeah,
continues.
how
Unapproved curriculum.
I know.
My arms are too long to worship.
I mean, what do you did you say God
It
gave you these
reminds me of a Kid
arms?
Rock lyric, actually, where he's like, "Your arms are too short to box with God."
Is that a line?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
used to wander around to my sister saying that. "Your arms are too short to box with Todd."
You should have started singing that in this guy's face. What, so how did you resolve this with him?
And I was like, "All right, whatever. I don't care.
I
I'm
just would
easy. I'm agreeable."
would you
I don't think anybody really thinks that, but I'm pretty agreeable. Like, I mean, I have opinions. We have the wildly opinionated news hour. We have beers with
Yes,
Jesus. I have
you have
opinions,
opinions, yes.
but I'm easy enough to get along with. I mean, most of the church probably doesn't agree with a lot of my opinions. I think they should, and I make the case why they should.
Mhm.
But I don't care if you don't. It's fine. I understand the boxes are cozy and comfortable. You're all wrapped up. Oh, I like this version of the Bible. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So that was
Uh,
my experience today. There's always something new where the
yep,
Sunday I feel like maybe I'm a problem, like, we're gonna read about it, this chick who's wandering around chasing after Paul and Silas,
yeah.
and, like, I think I'm a bit of a problem for the Sunday show, even when I'm just worshiping Jesus. I'm like a
No, you're just
problem for
so
the Sunday
tall.
show. They're like, "Move over.
Move. You're
Sit
in
in
the
back.
shot. Get out of the shot.
Go to the overflow room."
Listen, you know what I want our listeners to do? I want them to please share your opinions on how like,
Comment,
who's
yeah.
yeah, comment on this. Just share your thoughts on either
Should
side.
I just go elbow up?
Do the chicken dance while you're worshiping.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
boy.
This is what happens. Nobody I'm telling you, I don't
Are
like, I'm
you
just a
always
harmless, lovable little fuzzball, and I don't know how I get into these predicaments.
an agreeable, lovable little fuzzball? How long how often you sit in the pretty much the same spot?
Yeah, I do.
I wonder how long this guy has been working up the courage to
I don't
say to
know.
you,
It's a good question.
"Hey, you know, you're just so tall. Can you just"
He's like, "Yeah, I thought, We're working on some other things. I don't know what those other things are. We're getting,
Oh my gosh.
we're getting those
Sorry.
drywall stilts for the worship leader.
Oh my gosh. Right? You could work on that. That's wild.
And you know what's weird? They're on like a 3-foot stage. I don't, but I don't know.
I know. It's just got to be the
Got to
angle.
be
I
the
don't know where
angle.
they're.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're just
big
right
problem.
there.
I'm like, maybe
So
we could get a
funny.
blimp.
Get a drone camera.
I just keep though. You know what? People hear me talk about the Sunday show. I don't know what to do about it. I keep going though. It doesn't bother
Yep.
me. I
I
just
think
keep
it's good
going to
to
the
go.
Sunday show.
I think it's good to go.
I understand that I'm somewhat of a thorn, perhaps, in the side of the Sunday show. And the more and more that this program grows, which it is, thank you, Lord, for giving us a
Thank
little
you.
bit, for giving, and thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
everyone, for joining in, for listening, for telling people about it.
Hmm.
We enjoy it. So we enjoy walking through the
Yeah.
stories of the Bible. And if it makes everybody feel better in my church, I'll just go like this the whole time today. It'll be my, this will be my penance.
Your your hand your hand is in the shot. It's
What
so
do you
funny.
mean?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
That's
it's
hilarious.
always fun.
Yep.
Who knows what's it? There's some family Thanksgiving dinner thing at our church that Kate signed me up for.
Oh, okay.
So now I get to go to Thanksgiving dinner, not this week, next week.
Okay.
We'll see how
You're
that
gonna be
goes.
serving right next to the audiovisual guy,
They're
we
gonna be like,
imagine.
dude, you're taking up too much turkey. Can you put some back? Okay.
Oh my
Trying
gosh.
to save $10 million for a building. Oh, well
There you
then.
go.
That makes sense.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. So funny.
So anyway,
Mm.
how was your kids, you had kids in town from New
Oh, I
Orleans.
did.
You had
It
fun.
was
Your grandkid was in town.
it was chaos and wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. He's starting to say little words.
And now you
He's
get like 4 hours downtime and then you get to fly to Michigan.
Yes. It's approximately right. Yep.
That's okay.
It's okay. They weren't expecting to be. They were here for kind of a family emergency on, my son-in-law's side, but, this was a bonus visit. We're hoping
Okay.
still to see them at Thanksgiving.
Good. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Are
it'll be
they
fun.
coming for Thanksgiving to your house?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Not Thanksgiving dinner, they actually go to his family,
Oh, yeah.
and Patrick my, sons, Patrick and Alexander, don't like Thanksgiving food,
Oh,
so I'm
so
gonna
what do you
come up
do?
well, I'm gonna come up with another plan. We've always done Thanksgiving food.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
And
and, this year, I've done it because Steve and I like Thanksgiving food,
right.
but
But now it's just you.
it's just me, and I'm fine without I like a few things, but I
Yeah.
think we're gonna come up with a plan B.
Okay.
Might do steaks or something.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna do something. We'll do something special but different.
Right. I don't think that's bad. I do like Thanksgiving food. Like we've
Yeah.
got now it's kind of developed into where we go to Amber Brandon's, my sister's,
Okay. Oh,
every
yeah, that's
year.
so nice.
And then, some days or some years my kids are there. My kids always show up at some point.
Yeah.
But they'll do dinner maybe with their
Right.
mom's side or wherever they're going, different
Mhm.
brothers or whatever. Then they'll stop in later to Amber's. So, but I make the turkey.
Okay. Yum.
Nikki makes the mashed potatoes and gravy,
Mhm.
and I make stuffing. That's my big thing. I like turkey
I
and
love
stuffing.
stuffing.
Me too. It's my favorite thing.
I love stuffing. I used to love mashed potatoes most of my life, but stuffing, I think in the Thanksgiving race, stuffing has taken the
And I
lead.
make homemade. Like I stale all my bread, cut it up, and
Oh,
I've all fresh
awesome.
herbs and stuff.
That's
It's
cool.
real
Oh,
good.
I bet it's really good. Do you put
It's
any, like I'm gonna say unusual additions, like, something
I
besides
don't.
celery and stuff? Do you do, like,
Well, celery.
nuts or
No. No nuts, no
okay.
sausage,
So
none
it's
of
pre
that
okay.
craziness.
So it's pretty
I like
traditional,
normal stuffing.
but scratch oh, that sounds so good. Mm.
Yeah.
And you
All the
stuff
fresh
it in the
herbs.
Tucky so
I
it
don't.
turkey?
I don't.
Okay.
You know what I've done
Mm.
is I use Cooks Illustrated or America's Test Kitchen like all the time. That's
Okay.
my go-to
What is
for
it called?
called America's Test Kitchen. And it's like,
Okay.
I don't know,
Huh.
the digital thing might be $40 a year,
Okay.
but I use it all the time for
Yeah.
all kinds of different stuff.
Okay.
And so they have one and that you make a dressing, but then to get that kind of bird juice in it,
Yes.
you can take either chicken wings or you can take turkey wings and
Okay.
you brown them, poke them with holes, and then you put
Uh-huh.
them on top of the stuffing in like a 9 by 13 and then cover it with foil. So it's getting those juices dripping down as it's cooking, but it's
Brilliant.
not affecting the bird. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yes, totally.
Because the way they have that I do the bird, you start it breast side down at a real hot temp, like 400
Yeah.
degrees. Then you
Mhm.
flip it and go in a little lower so
Nice.
that that breast meat doesn't get,
Dry.
dried out. Yeah.
That's fabulous. Oh, I love that. That's such a great tip. Because
So I'm excited. I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite
yeah,
holidays. It's always a lot of work, because like you're
it
working
is.
Wednesday night, and then you're working all day Thursday
Right.
morning. But Amber doesn't like making the main. It works out because she loves making the sides,
Okay.
and
And she's got a great
and I
space
love
to host
making.
it.
Yeah, and I love making the main, the turkey
Perfect.
mashed. Nikki makes really good mashed potatoes and gravy, and
Oh,
so yeah,
yum.
it's fun. I love
So
Thanksgiving.
nice. I love Thanksgiving just because of what
You're
taking
thankful.
I'm thankful. Taking time to be grateful is a good feeling, and I love the football in the day, I love the Macy's parade,
Yeah,
I like the traditions of Thanksgiving.
I agree. I'm the same way. Turn on the Macy's Day Parade, the whole thing.
Yep, so fun.
It's fun.
Cool. Coming up, it's coming up.
I know it'll be fun. All
I
right, you
think
ready to go to do
yeah.
this thing or what?
Let's do it.
You're reading today, and we'll start.
Okay.
We're in Acts 16. We did the first half
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago, and then so we're at verse 16 to the end, which is beaten up and thrown in jail. We use the message
Mhm.
because I like the message,
Yeah,
just
message
because
is
it's
good.
the best.
Mm.
That's all. There's no other.
It's easy to understand,
It's
it's
the most
great.
narrative. That's what I always tell
Mhm.
people. And if we're dealing with the stories, I think it does a really good
Yeah,
job of hitting those narratives. So,
it's cool. All
all
right,
right,
you ready?
I'm ready,
Do
Carrie.
do we need any setup here, Paul, and,
I don't think so.
okay.
Listen to the last one. I don't know. Well, not the one with Kate and Sophie, the last one with Kate.
Right, right, right. All right. One day, on our way to the place of prayer, a slave girl ran into us. She was a psychic and, with her fortune telling, made a lot of money for the people who owned her. She started following Paul around, calling everyone's attention to us by yelling out, "These men are working for the Most High God. They're laying out the road of salvation for you." She did this for a number of days until Paul, finally fed up with her, turned and commanded the spirit that possessed her, "Out, in the name of Jesus Christ, get out of her." And it was gone just like that. When her owners saw that their lucrative little business was suddenly bankrupt, they
Oops.
went after they went after Paul and Silas, roughed them up, and dragged them into the market square. Then the police arrested them and pulled them into a court with the accusation, "These men are disturbing the peace, dangerous Jewish agitators subverting our Roman law and order." By this time, the crowd had turned into a restless mob out for blood. The judges went along with the mob, had Paul and Silas's clothes ripped off, and ordered a public beating. After beating them black and blue, they threw them into jail, telling the jailkeeper to put them under heavy guard so there would be no chance of escape. He did just that, threw them into the maximum security cell in the jail, and clamped leg irons on them. Along about midnight, Paul and Silas were at prayer and singing a robust hymn to God. The other prisoners couldn't believe their ears. Then, without warning, a huge earthquake. The jailhouse tottered, every door flew open, all the prisoners were loose. Startled from sleep, the jailer saw all the doors swinging loose on their hinges. Assuming that all the prisoners had escaped, he pulled out his sword and was about to do himself in, figuring he was as good as dead anyway, when Paul stopped him. "Don't do that. We're all still here. Nobody's run away." The jailer got a torch and ran inside. Badly shaken, he collapsed in front of Paul and Silas. He led them out of the jail and asked, "Sirs, what do I have to do to be saved, to really live?" They said, "Put your entire trust in the Master Jesus. Then you'll live as you were meant to live, and everyone in your house included." They went on to spell out in detail the story of the Master. The entire family got in on this part. They never did get to bed that night. The jailer made them feel at home, dressed their wounds, and then he couldn't wait till morning. was baptized. He and everyone in his family. There in his home, he had food set out for a festive meal. It was a night to remember. He and his entire family had put their trust in God. Everyone in the house was in on the celebration. At daybreak, the court judges sent officers with the instructions, "Release these men." The jailer gave Paul the message. The judges sent word that you're free to go on your way. Congratulations. Go in peace. But Paul wouldn't budge. He told the officers, "They beat us up in public and threw us in jail. Roman citizens in good standing. And now they want us to get out of the way on the sly without anyone knowing? Nothing doing. If they want us out of here, let them come themselves and lead us out in broad daylight." When the officers reported this, the judges panicked. They had no idea that Paul and Silas were Roman citizens. They hurried over and apologized, personally escorted them from the jail, and then asked them if they wouldn't please leave the city. Walking out of the jail, Paul and Silas went straight to Lydia's house, saw their friends again, and encouraged them in the faith, and only then went on their way.
Good job, Carrie.
Sorry, I'm so congested. I can really hear it.
What are you congested from? Are you fighting a cold or you got allergies?
I got a cold after the
Oh,
cruise, just like a head cold. I'm fine.
that
I feel
sucks.
I feel good.
Well,
But
hopefully you'll
I
be
just
healed.
I realize as I realize as I'm reading, it's like I sound
You don't sound that bad.
okay, good. So,
So what do you think? We got a
what do you
slave
think?
girl.
Slave girl. Yeah,
That's
start at the
kind of that's
beginning.
kind of a wild story there that it begins with. So they're because they're traveling around, I mean they're going around the city and they're telling the story of Jesus, right?
Uh-huh.
And then for whatever reason this slave girl runs in who's clearly demon possessed, obviously, because Paul cast the demon out of her.
He did.
But
She
what
wasn't
she's
presented that way to us initially.
what she's saying isn't it doesn't sound demonic. You know what
Well,
I mean?
right. I
It
mean,
does.
she declares who they are. And I've heard like people say demons like and we've talked about it a long, long time ago. The demons know. They know who Jesus is. They
Right.
know he's the savior. So the demons know that Paul and Silas are speaking the truth in their ministry,
But
which I think is kind of wild. Yeah.
clearly the demons though wouldn't have been like they're not lying, but they're not trying to help Paul and Barnabas or Paul and Barnabas, right? Or not Barnabas, Silas.
Right.
Paul and Silas.
Yeah.
They're not trying to help them, right?
No. Mm-mm.
So it's kind of odd that she would wander around telling people these men are working for the Most High God. They're laying out the road to salvation for you. And you know what I wondered is I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to discredit Paul and Silas's message
Okay.
because everybody probably in town. I mean, what's happening with this girl? She's a psychic. She makes them a lot of money. Probably everybody kind of knows the score
Okay.
with what either this girl and her masters or somebody just like them. I mean,
Okay.
in other words,
Yeah. The type.
I don't think this was like that out of the realm
Right.
for that
Yeah.
area. And so when Paul and Barnabas are I keep saying Barnabas, Silas, when Paul and Silas are out
Hmm.
there preaching, the devil comes and he tries to amplify their message, but using this demon possessed slave girl.
Right.
And that's just not the picture that you would get. You know what I mean? And I think that's why Paul gets annoyed is because they're
Like we
trying
don't
to be
need your
taken
endorsement.
seriously. I'm
Yeah.
not sure that I think that the demons were trying to get them to not be taken seriously.
Gotcha. So
That
like an
makes sense?
endorsement, yeah, an endorsement from a source like this is not a good one.
Right.
This little slave psychic girl. It's kind of like, "Kate, just I don't need your endorsement."
Right.
It actually
And
makes us look bad.
it's not sincere. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And that's got to be apparent to people. That
Okay, so you think that maybe it's almost in like a sarcastic tone, or
well,
is
I
that kind
just
of what
mean
you're
that I don't mean that as much as this isn't God doesn't work through the demonic
right.
proclaiming the truth. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. Okay.
Like the answer when the jailer says to him, what do I have to do to be saved to really live? Well, this demonic psychic slave girl doesn't have the answer to how to really live. The devil he gets the basics
Yeah.
of the story. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's the
I mean,
application that we really run into some different areas on.
yeah, there you go. That's true.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
What do you
mean,
think?
well, I think you're right. I mean, the devil knows the truth.
Do you think there's other areas in which the devil uses the truth not for the truth's sake, but to accomplish deception? Do you know what I mean?
100%.
In other
100%.
areas?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say, like, there are all kinds of people who, I say all kinds. There
All
are
kinds of people.
I was gonna say, there are I was gonna say in different instances, like, there are, like, sick and twisted people who use scripture to support, like, their radical ideas
Right.
or violence, like, there are criminals who use scripture
Turn the other cheek.
in their manifesto, someone will write a manifesto and they'll quote the Bible, and it's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." Like, that's is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, the devil quoted the Bible in Jesus' temptation, the temptation
That's
of
yeah.
Christ.
That's what I mean,
He's
like, he
like,
knows
"Listen,"
what's what.
but he quotes it in such a way that he's not recognizing God's authority through it. He's trying to use it to twist it to get Jesus to kind of falter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's the same thing, right? So Paul's getting annoyed by it,
Mhm.
clearly, and this
Yeah.
chick's following around, and people probably are thinking, well, because if they see this girl and she's around Paul and Silas, they would think we've seen her. Like,
Right.
we know this story. We know where she comes down. I don't need my tarot card reading today, you know?
Yeah. And I'm curious too, like, maybe I don't know how would her enslavement be viewed by the community?
I don't know because I think slaves were such a typical thing in
Okay.
Roman uh
Okay.
in Roman culture.
Because I just wondered if even
Slavery's been a
associating
typical thing in almost all cultures.
I know,
We
yes.
have in America this I say skewed. I don't mean skewed as in that it didn't happen, but I
Mhm.
mean skewed as in we have a conscience about what went on with
Yes.
slavery. The
Yeah. Here.
and in a way, even though it wasn't addressed in the original Constitution, like in
Mhm.
1782, I think was when the Constitution was. But even though it wasn't originally addressed, they were already grappling with it. So they were grappling, the founders were grappling with this institution that they didn't feel like was right.
Yeah.
That wasn't true in Rome. I mean, that wasn't
Right.
true in most of the world.
Okay.
People talk about the transatlantic slave trade, but 95% of the slaves went to Brazil. They didn't come to America. And I'm not saying some horrible things and that slavery is okay. I'm not saying any of that. All
Right.
I'm
Of
saying
course.
is that there was always within the American culture, there was a conscience about slavery.
Yeah.
That by
There
and
were
large
people who
wasn't the case.
there were people who recognized that it wasn't right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
So
because we were founded with Christian people.
mhm.
But prior to this, I don't think slaves, I mean, it just wasn't, it was just life.
Yeah.
You could be a slave, you could purchase your way out of slavery, or there were different ways in which you became a slave, there were different ways in which you could become free again,
Mhm.
and so it was this all kinda wound into the culture,
Right.
and it just wasn't looked at like it was like we think of slavery, like Uncle Tom's
Yeah.
Cabin, and you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
just they didn't have our sensibilities about it,
Yeah.
our sense they just didn't. That was
I
why we fought the Civil War and, well, I
right.
mean, theoretically,
In
whatever.
part, yeah.
Yeah.
Big in large part. Well, so okay. So that doesn't play as much into it,
I don't
as
think it
as
does.
much as just she's probably just always out there kind of, I'm gonna say hustling,
Yeah,
people for money for her owners, and people are like you said, "We know her," like,
yeah,
so it just didn't lend credibility to their message.
and people did know it sounds like when they said that, she let's see, where does it say this? She was a psychic and her fortune telling made a lot of money for the people who owned her, so it sounds like she may have had a reputation as you get these psychics who people think of as kind of the real deal. Some of their stuff
Yeah.
comes true and whatever, and they get a little bit
Sure.
of a reputation as somebody who's in touch with something. And
Mhm.
it sounds like she was that. So what you've got is this witchcraft essentially
Right.
masquerading as Christianity
Mhm.
and trying to take that on and
Gotcha.
say, hey, you know, I can tell your fortunes and I can do all this, but I'm telling you, we're all about Jesus. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it just didn't it wasn't it wasn't what Paul they're trying it's a completely different way of life that Jesus came to give
Mhm.
us and it wasn't by
Wasn't
demonic
this.
in the occult, you know?
Mhm.
That it was turning away from that. I think
Right.
by and large. And so then you see that in the power with Paul when he casts out the demon. But then man, her owners did not like that because suddenly this chick is not going to be any good at all to them
I
for
know.
fortune telling and psychic reading.
I know. It's like, in reality, that's sad, but it cracked me up. It was like, you know how pissed they must have been?
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just them because they get the rest of the town like riled up because
Yeah.
if he did it to our slave girl, how do you know he's not going to do it to yours? He's trying to ruin everything.
Right.
That's what they always that's what the Pharisees felt like about Jesus.
Yep.
That's what people the Jews felt like about Paul every time he's going someplace. He's trying to ruin everything. We
I
got this
know.
all set up. Can't
He's
you just shut up?
he's outside the curriculum.
Right. Go then just raise your hand 3/4 of the way. Got it.
Gosh. So,
So I thought that was interesting.
yeah.
Um the let me look here. And then it was interesting to me how quick the crowd was to turn into a mob.
I know. I think about that, and I wonder, we talk about our culture right now and how public opinion is
Outrage
so
culture.
yeah, and I just think, you know what? There are multiple instances in the Bible that we've encountered, and it's like, people like, the mob mentality is a real thing.
Well, yeah, and the other thing I thought is that they mob justice never seems to hit the mark. It never seems to satisfy what the mobs are after.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I and it's just maybe based on whatever is pitched to them first.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were told the story from the slave owners or the slave owners, and they just ran with it. They got upset, they ran with it. They didn't stop and say, "Well, let's hear the other side."
Well,
Mobs never ask to hear the other side.
and as I studied this, it sounds like
Mhm.
that much of the Jewish culture had been driven out of I think they're in Philippi right now. Isn't that
I think so.
I think that's where they're at. They went to the Asia province and they couldn't go there. I'm pretty sure they're in Philippi and that's where Lydia is. I
Okay.
think. Philippi. Well, in my study, Philippi had already had situations where anti uh Semitism had they had pushed out Jewish people.
Okay.
And so when I think that's part of why this mob is on such a hair trigger because you notice they say these men are disturbing the peace, dangerous Jewish agitators,
Yes.
subverting the the
The
Roman
Roman rule of
rule and
law,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which was the same thing that they accused Jesus of. Like
Right.
this isn't a new thing. And the same thing that they were accused of multiple times through Acts. But I think
Mhm.
in this town, because they'd had some experience, I don't know exactly what the experience was, but they didn't like Jews is the
Okay.
general idea that you get. And
Okay.
so for them to throw out these are a bunch of Jewish agitators, that just puts the crowd just like that. And
Yep.
suddenly it flips the crowd on them. What's interesting, I think,
Mhm.
is I thought, well, why didn't because Paul and Silas's Roman citizenry, they were both Roman citizens.
Mhm.
And so the crowd wasn't allowed to do that's what we're gonna see later, is
Right.
that's the whole hullabaloo that is created. But
Mhm.
I thought, I wonder why Paul and Silas I wonder why they didn't assert that on the front end,
Right. Why didn't they say, "Hey, we're Roman citizens."
because he did on the back end,
Mhm.
but he didn't do it on the front end. Now, if he had done it on the front end,
Mhm.
we wouldn't have had the miracle of the earthquake and the prison doors opening and them
Right.
praising God in the middle of the
Right.
storm, right? And we
Mhm.
wouldn't have had the whole jailer's family saved. And those are real integral pieces of this. But I
Yeah.
also wonder if maybe they tried to and nobody in the mob just wouldn't listen to them. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Because when it says later, after the whole thing happens, which we'll go
Mhm.
through, but when they get the news the next morning that the judges are like, go ahead and release these men, that's after they were like, put them in the maximum security cell. So
Yeah.
what happened overnight? My guess is these judges started to realize these guys are Roman citizens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
somebody was like, I heard him saying that, and they think, oh, they start looking into it, and you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know how they proved such things in the day, you know what I mean? If they
Mhm.
had to show them their papers or what,
Right. Yeah, I wonder,
but there
but,
was
like,
a
they
way you
carried
couldn't
around
just beat
ID.
up a Roman citizen. Like theoretically, you can't to an American citizen, right? We have a system
Mhm.
of law. Like,
Yes.
you can't just the FBI, I mean, I know they do, but theoretically, they can't just grab people off the street, and
Mhm.
without a trial. That's part of our whole system. Well, a lot of that we get from the Roman system.
Okay.
So, it's, that I thought was kinda interesting. I thought probably they did mention
Mhm.
it, but it does seem like God had something else in mind. So in other words, they weren't gonna be saved. It wasn't their Roman citizenship that was gonna save them. God's gonna save Paul and Silas. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then on the back end, they can assert the Roman stuff and they can deal with the political stuff. But on the front end, God's got a miracle coming and he's got salvation and deliverance coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're like, "God's got this."
And they seem like they were okay with that. I mean, they're in
Yeah.
jail. They gotten the crap beat out of them.
Yep.
Their clothes stripped off. I mean, all of these things were wildly, not only was it untrue, not only was it unjust, it was even unjust from a secular political standpoint. None of this
Mhm.
should have happened to them. But in the middle of the night, in this deep maximum security cell, they're singing. They're singing to Jesus. And it's so unheard of that all of the prisoners they don't even know what to make of it. They're like, what's going on? This isn't how people are. You know
They're
what I
like, "Some
mean?
of us are trying to sleep in our
Yeah.
night
And
irons."
I
Oh.
just think that's it's kind of interesting
Mhm.
how God works. How he didn't use their natural the Roman citizenry. That wasn't the way that he was going to do it at first. First, he was gonna put them through some persecution. That persecution then is gonna lead to praise in the
Mhm.
at least with Paul and Silas it did, and then that praise is gonna lead to a miracle that's gonna lead to deliverance and salvation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Paul probably thought in hindsight, my guess would be, if we were able to talk to Paul and Silas, that Paul would be like, "Oh, yeah, we were telling him it the whole thing was unjust." But in hindsight,
Mhm.
I'd have never given up that night with the jailer. I mean, look at everything that happened.
Right.
We
Oh,
got an
yeah. True.
earthquake, and then how quick it changes too, because,
It was
um
so cool.
yeah, because by them accepting that initial mistreatment, God
Mhm.
opens the door for them to minister, and he opens the door to a miracle,
Yes. I feel like multiple miracles.
for sure.
I was so
But
sad
if
to
they
hear
don't
that.
accept that mistreatment on the front end,
Yeah.
maybe they miss that miracle. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
That makes sense?
And you wonder if somewhere along the way they were told, when no matter what happens, like,
Yeah.
God's got you. You have some time to do this ministry for us.
Yeah, praise him.
Maybe.
Praise him
Who
even when
knows?
it's bad.
Mhm.
Praise him for the deliverance that you haven't even walked into yet,
Mhm.
because you know he's going to. And if he
Right.
doesn't, what's the worst that happens? Well, you die and you go to be with Jesus. I mean, Paul talks about that later on
Right.
in his epistles, He's like, either way I win. So,
Yeah. Well, I was happy he stopped the jailer from killing himself.
for sure he did. And I thought that too. I thought, "My Lord, what a difference God makes," right? The jailer goes from being ready to commit suicide to everybody getting baptized in a festive meal, and they stay up all night because everybody's so excited they can't even go to sleep.
Right, baptism party.
And what is this jailer thinking? Because, like, he's ready to commit suicide. All this is going on. The next morning, he knows he's going to have to face these judges, but God's already got that taken care of before either Paul or the jailer or
Mhm.
Silas knows what's going on. He's 20 miles upstream already working that one out. You know what
Right,
I mean?
yeah,
And so, yeah, I just love that. I love that about the story.
yeah, and the whole family, it's, like, not just the jailer, it's his whole family,
Yeah.
which is cool.
It makes you wonder if, and we've talked about this, that those who seek find, those who knock the doors open. It makes you wonder if there was something about the jailer's life prior to this where he was seeking God. For whatever reason, the spirit maybe was already at work in him.
Mhm.
It just it seems like that to me because it's such a big harvest all of a sudden.
Yes.
And it's his whole family.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Right.
and when he says, "What do I have to do to be saved to really live?" He must have been in a position where he realized all of this is kinda hollow. Like, there's gotta be more to life than this.
Right. Well, and I find it interesting that in this scene, I mean, it's the is it yeah, it's the middle of the night. This is
Yeah,
midnight. It's late at night, and this earthquake has happened. This guy almost
wakes everybody up,
yeah, I
wakes the
mean, it's like,
jailer up.
obviously, it's gotta be mayhem there. He's about to kill himself. He's stopped, and that's the question he asks.
Yeah,
It isn't like, there I mean, obviously, we don't have, like, a whole, like, account of everything, but I just think this is what's on his mind in this moment, and so that tells me that he knew who Paul and Silas were.
yeah, they must have made something of a name for themselves, something
Mhm.
they create
He
well,
knew
clearly
them.
they created a stir.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Maybe he had seen them preaching or had, encountered them already or something,
That's a good point, he easily could've.
but the whole jail is but, like, all the doors have flung open, there's an earthquake, it's craziness going on, and he throws himself in front of them and says, "What do I have to do to really
Well,
live?"
it also makes you wonder if it's possible, we don't know,
Mhm,
but, I mean, they're beaten up there, whatever. It's
mhm.
possible that as he's taken custody of Paul and Silas and he's getting them put away and whatever, that he's talking to him and he's like, "God, what did you guys do to piss everybody off so bad?" Or
Right.
whatever, who knows?
The
It's
whole mob out
poss
there is calling for you.
it's
Yeah.
possible Paul and Silas had already begun to witness to him of sorts,
Mhm.
but at the time, maybe what whatever. But it's when
That's
that
true too.
earthquake comes, and it's when he walks out and he sees all and this is for a Roman jailer, the reason that he was gonna kill himself is because if a prisoner escaped on your watch,
Mhm.
you were you were killed. It was capital punishment, basically.
Okay.
So, that would be why he would kill himself is he looked at himself as good as dead.
Right.
As soon as this gets out, it's over anyway. I'd rather go on my terms than I don't know if he'd be crucified. That
Right.
was one of the other things is Roman citizens generally weren't crucified.
Okay.
Um, but I don't know.
Either way, it'd be bad. And it wasn't just, 1 or 2, it's all of them.
Yeah.
He thought everyone was gone.
Yeah, no, totally. He's startled out of sleep, and then he assumes that everybody's gone, and he gets out of when and even when Paul comes, "Listen, chill, you don't have to do that." He's badly shaken. I think that's a it's again, I love the message. I love you the way Eugene Peterson translates things, but
Yeah.
we go from this dude's he's awakened by an earthquake and he's
Uh-huh.
badly shaken. And
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah.
Like he's shaken physically and spiritually. This
Yeah.
dude's shaken up.
Totally.
And this is what pushes him to Jesus. And that's what we talk about where pain is God's megaphone to a lost and dying world, right?
Mhm.
God shakes us up to get us to where we're at the place where we're ready for what he has for us. We're ready to accept his message and we're ready to really live, basically.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting that Paul's answer is, hey, and that's his first question. Paul's ready with the answer. He's like, hey, just put your entire trust in Jesus. and then you'll live as you were meant to live. Paul also never says anything about hell. That's never brought up in the conversation.
About hell?
About hell, yeah. It's all about being saved to something, to new
Yes.
life, to really live. This
Yes.
guy isn't this guy isn't worried about roasting in flames forever and ever. He's right where he is, worried about how do I really live, because he recognizes that this isn't it. This isn't what I
Mhm.
was made for, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what he's
Yeah.
seeking. What he's asking for Paul is because he sees in Paul the answer,
Mhm.
or he suspects anyway that Paul has the answer. And lucky for him, Paul does. Then they get baptized and they get a big old meal going.
I love that.
I do too.
I'm imagining him, like, telling the story. "Guys, you won't believe what happened."
Well, and who else is around this? Like, you wonder, what about the other prisoners? Are they around this table? I mean, what's going, you know what I mean?
I know.
It doesn't really tell us.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. So when Paul says, "Nobody's run away," I mean, yeah, are they all just hanging
You
back?
get the sense I think you kind of get is the whole prison, the whole that little prison, whatever it is, that whole prison is saved.
Yeah.
You know, like this earthquake shook them all up. First, there's these people
Which
singing a hymn, and then what in the world?
I mean, it makes you wonder too, like, why is that? Why are they all included?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't
Were
know.
they
We don't know
all
for
jailed
sure.
unjustly? Maybe the mob there is just really, really awful.
I don't know. I
Man, that's
really
like the
don't.
worst. It's the worst place.
But I think it's funny that where the movement of God
Mhm.
comes to Philippi
Yep.
is to the prison. When they're wrongly imprisoned,
Mhm.
they're wrongly persecuted, they're mistreated, they're beaten up and all these things,
Mhm.
but they've accepted that mistreatment as from God's hands and they're praising him anyway. That's like this is the classic thing where you're like, man, if they can praise God in the dungeon, how can I not praise God? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
gotcha, yes. Oh, yeah, that they're singing a hymn in the middle of the night
Yeah.
when they're, like, they've been unjustly beaten and imprisoned.
Yeah.
True. So, how I missed the transition from the jailer to the judges. How do the judges learn? Why do they change their tune? They
Well, see,
learn
that's why
somehow?
I think that that's why my guess is that Paul and Silas at some point protested that they were Roman citizens, but that the
Okay.
mob wouldn't listen to them.
Mhm.
And that at some point wiser heads prevailed during the night.
Mhm.
And they were like, we just did this to Roman citizens. Like,
Okay.
that's against now they could be in for the same treatment because
Okay.
you're just not allowed to do that to Roman citizens. It's
Okay.
flagrantly breaking Roman law. And Romans didn't take well to that. I mean,
Right.
Philippi isn't in Italy. This is a province, you know what I mean? It's part of
Right.
Greece or part of Asia Minor, probably Macedonia.
Okay.
And
So, what do you think what do you think about Paul's pride here? I feel like this is pride, him saying, "So listen, you're not letting us out quietly." Like, he makes them admit the mistake,
I
and
don't know if it's pride.
you don't think so?
I think that
Seems like it.
it seems to
I
me
mean, it's
like
accountability, it's
seems
holding them
like
accountable.
justice.
Yeah, justice, but
And my
okay.
guess is that Paul, I mean, if he's a Roman citizen, Silas is a
Mhm.
Roman citizen, and yeah, you guys don't get to just walk scot free from this and pretend like it never happened. You know,
Okay.
that's we talked. If people want to go back and talk to news, listen to news yesterday. Part of my complaints about there being no one
Yeah.
being held accountable for stealing elections, all the things that happened, is
Right.
that part of us just wants justice.
Yeah.
Right? And I think
Mhm.
that's how Paul was. And I think Paul maybe had more of that in him than some. We saw his disagreement with Barnabas. Like we
Mhm.
talked about how Paul could be kind of a hard ass, right?
Yeah.
It
Strong
worked.
personality.
God used it, the whole
Yep.
thing. But there's part of him that no, you're not going to get away with this.
Mhm.
You're gonna because you by forcing them, because what he says essentially is that he says they beat us up in public. He wouldn't budge. He told the officers they beat us up in public, threw us in jail, Roman citizens in good standing, and now
Mhm.
they want to get us out of the way on the sly without anyone knowing. Nothing doing it. They want us out of here. Let them come themselves and lead us out in broad daylight. So what he's forcing them to do is accept accountability
Yep.
for their actions. And
Mhm.
I think that Paul saw value in that. And there may have been value even for the gospel in that. Because they've been traveling around the city and proclaiming things. That was why he
Mhm.
cast the demon out of the girl. Because if he allows them to just get away with it, they just sneak out of the city on the sly,
Mhm.
then he's allowing them to disparage the gospel that they've been wandering around this city teaching.
Okay.
And so, no, I'm not going to let you get away with that. You can come and you can walk me back to my friend's house, and you're going to make it obvious to everybody we didn't do anything wrong. And that kind of bolsters and adds legitimacy, I think, to the gospel that they've been proclaiming.
Got it. That
That
makes
makes
sense.
sense?
Sure. It's kinda like just like the girl, took credibility away,
Right.
holding them accountable publicly.
They'd be doing the same thing if they
Yeah.
just
Got it.
snuck out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Paul doesn't strike me as the guy. I mean, he's forced to at times, like they let him down in a basket and whatever, but not in this one. In this one, he knows he's got because they've already backed down.
Right.
He didn't even have to. God's already made the way where they're like, okay, let these guys go. Well,
Mhm.
why are you doing that? They learned they're Roman citizens.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And Paul's like, no, you're not getting out of it that easy. And everybody who sees us is going to know,
Mhm.
whoa, something different's going on here.
Yeah.
These were Roman citizens. And there's some legitimacy to what they were teaching.
Mhm.
They weren't out there spreading lies. They weren't out there trying to create these riots and things,
Right. They weren't
trying to destroy our way of
disrupting.
life.
Yeah.
That's my thought on it.
Gotcha.
What do you think?
I like that. I like it too because, it's one thing for the judges to recognize, like, in their own minds,
Mhm.
the truth. It's another thing to walk it. It's
Right.
yeah.
To put it out there for everybody else to see.
Yes.
We lied or we didn't lie,
Mhm.
whatever the thing is.
Right.
But
And if the court, if the judges, the court, the legal system there walks them out publicly and releases them, um, that's a powerful demonstration to the people
I think so.
who the day before, saw them throw them in jail
And
and
you'll see,
and
yeah.
jumped on the bandwagon and assumed that these guys were guilty. And yeah, so
I
I think
think
it's
Paul even later in Romans we see kind of he sees the basis for human government as God. God being the basis and the authority from
okay.
which human government derives its own authority.
Okay.
And so I think in Paul's mind
Mm,
there's value even to just holding this government to there being justice even on just the secular level.
mhm.
Because God established that authority and just to let him slide that's not okay.
Right.
Just to turn our heads because you don't fix anything that way,
Right.
you know? And it's
Yeah.
not fair. And then what are they gonna do? That's the other question is, does it cast some disrepute on Lydia and on her friends that
Oh.
have just kinda taken Paul in if they just kinda slink out of town?
Mhm.
Because Lydia's gonna live there. I mean, these there's a church in Philippi. That's who the letter of Philippians you talked about earlier. That's
Yeah.
who it was written to.
Right.
So these Christians are gonna stay there, and Paul doesn't wanna leave them in a position where he wants them he wants justice done. He wants people to
Mhm.
look at them like they're legitimate. And as they're telling the gospel story, not to have it be like, oh, that was from that guy they ran out of town. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right.
I don't
Right.
think Paul wanted that.
And also, I mean, for them to come back, for him to correspond, but also to come back.
Yeah.
Anytime he's there, doesn't wanna be the guy like, "Hey, didn't they throw that guy in jail? Like, what's he doing here preaching again?" Obviously it closes that loop, keeps him in good standing in the eyes of the community. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and like you said, bolsters the credibility of the gospel.
I think so.
Interesting. Yeah, it makes sense.
But I do think that one
Wow.
of the biggest things of this passage is Paul and Silas' willingness
Mhm.
to accept mistreatment to
Yeah.
accept persecution and to
Mhm.
praise God anyway. They weren't mad that God had let this happen to them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They looked at this as an opportunity to praise and worship God, even from the depths of
Mhm.
circumstances that aren't at all conducive to what they're trying to do.
Yes.
Like, this is
Yes.
not where they should be. But
Mhm.
before they know how God's going to work it all out, they're so full of faith that he's going to.
Mhm.
They're singing, man. They're praying to God. They're singing. And that is just like the other prisoners couldn't believe their ears.
Yeah.
And then the whole earthquake, like, then a miracle happens in there.
Right.
So I
You
think
wonder
everybody there
yeah.
is.
You wonder if in the middle of the hymn, when the earthquake came, if Paul and Silas just looked at each other like, "There you go." There he
Oh,
is.
fist bump.
Fist bump. Exactly.
They're like, our God is the greatest, man.
The greatest. That's
Like,
really
they're probably
cool.
singing louder. They're like,
Right?
look at this.
That's awesome.
And that is a lesson to us, to just because circumstances turn against us,
Oh my gosh, such a lesson.
praise God in the storm. That's
Yep.
that Casting Crowns song, I think.
Oh, is it?
Praise you in the storm. It's a good song. Yeah. We play
Nice.
it on here, but then they take it off YouTube, because we don't have
Oh, oh, yeah, true. No one would be
we
able
don't
to
have the
see this one.
licenses. But
Yeah, that's cool. It reminds me of, you know how when people are, like in Paul and Silas's situation, and when we face hardship in our lives, that we often say, like, to ourselves, like, "Why me? Like, why is this
yeah,
happening?" You know, it's this kind of "woe is me, why?" It's human, that's what we do. Um, but as we talked about gratitude earlier, some pastor was preaching about this and said, when things are going really well in your life and you're thinking about all you're grateful for, you should also ask God that question.
true.
Why me? Like, why do I deserve all of this?
Yeah.
You know,
No, he's absolutely right.
on the positive side, on the flip side.
It kind of raises us above our circumstances.
Yes. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Rather than empowering our circumstances,
Yes.
we look at God and we realize God has all the power. If he's letting this happen, like Job,
Hmm.
though he slay me, yet will I praise him. You know? And that's a hard place to get.
Woo.
It's a real hard place to get. But
That is. But man, it sounds very peaceful.
when you get there, there's a miracle waiting on the other side. And in that miracle comes this night that I got to believe Paul and Silas never would have dreamed could happen when
Right.
they first
Yeah.
get thrown into this prison.
Right.
We're going to be baptizing all these people, and there's like going to be a revival breaking out in this prison.
Like, what?
That's not what they see coming.
Yeah.
That's just God's constantly surprising, even Paul and Silas, all of us. He's constantly at work, constantly
Mhm.
surprising. And when we rise above our circumstances, when I say
Mhm.
rise above them, when we don't let them weigh us down
Yeah.
and we look to God anyway and we
Yeah,
say,
we look at things above the circumstances. Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to do. I just don't know. None of this makes any sense to me, but you know what? I'm going to trust you anyway.
I love
And I'm
that.
not just going to trust you anyway. I'm going to sing about it. And
Yeah.
all these people might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to sing anyway
Yeah. That's cool.
and see what God can do. So, anyway,
Love that. Well
well,
said, Todd.
I think we did good. What do you think?
I love it.
Carrie's
Yeah,
back. It was a
this
good
was a good
return.
maybe I don't know, maybe we can figure out next week. Maybe.
Well, we'll see. You
Okay.
keep me posted
I will.
and
I
have
don't want
safe
Kate
travels
coming
anyway. I'll
for my
see you
job just
anyway.
yet. Yeah,
Hopefully,
I
you'll be
hope to
up here
see
in
you.
Michigan. So, we'll see you.
I'll be working. You'll be working, but hopefully we can get together
Yeah.
one evening.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yes.
Have some drinks. Beers
Definitely.
with Jesus live.
There you go. Rising above our circumstances, one day at a time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today, Carrie. Everybody out there,
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining us. Tell your friends about it.
Please.
Follow us, subscribe, give us 5 stars, 7 if you can. You know we deserve it.
Yes. Thank you.
And join us next week. Somehow in some form we'll be back next week.
We'll be here.
If Carrie's not here, she'll be here the week after.
Definitely.
And then we should be good to go for a while.
Yeah. I'm
So.
not going anywhere for a while.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Todd.
Yeah, enjoy. If you haven't listened to beer or to news yet, listen to news.
Mhm.
Toddsworld.net has all the gear, everything else. You
The
can find us.
books, the
There you
books.
go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week. Thanks, Carrie.
Bye.